And tonight in Your America, the president's affinity for bailouts has now officially gone international. Now, according to the New York Times, it was President Obama who privately pushed European leaders to finalize the bailout plan for Greece and other debt-ridden nations. Now, the Times describes several urgent phone calls placed by the president on Sunday to various heads of state in Europe. Now, administration officials have confirmed that the president called on the EU to take extraordinary measures to begin to turn their troubled economy around. But is this bailout being orchestrated solely by the EU and their money, or will American taxpayers in the end be the ones left footing this bill? Joining me now with analysis are the host of Varney and Company, the Fox Business Network, Stuart Varney, and Democratic strategist, the one and only Penny Lee. Good to see you both. Yep. Wait a minute. First of all, Obama lecturing people on debt is laughable. That's first of all.
Correct.
Okay. Are we going to foot the bill?
We've already started to foot the bill. This trillion-dollar bailout of the Europeans has not yet been approved by legislatures in Europe. They needed money quick. Whose money went right in? American money. It was American dollars funded by the Federal Reserve with these so-called currency swaps. We are driving this bailout and we are financing it in the early stages. That's what's going on.
In the big picture, it's not just going to be Greece. It's going to be Greece, maybe Great Britain, maybe Spain,
yes,
Portugal. What other countries?
Entitlement economies in Europe are going under. They are bankrupt. They cannot pay the bills. It's a ripple effect all the way through. The basic problem is entitlement programs, out of control, neo-socialism doesn't work. They're bankrupt. Sorry.
Penny, do you want the American taxpayer to foot the bill?
Well, we actually aren't putting that much of the bill. What we did was we contributed to the IMF.
How much is not that much?
What we did was contribute exactly what we already had in the IMF, and they are the ones lending that money.
Sorry,
and as far
you were
as the
wrong.
Swaps,
Factually wrong. It is an unlimited amount of dollars from the Federal Reserve. It is unlimited.
The Federal Reserve is giving back U.S. currencies. And in exchange for that, then they get the currency from over in Europe. That is already established. It is something that we did in October, and it is not. We are not at risk.
It is I'm sorry, I've got to correct you factually.
We already have the currency in the Federal Reserve.
One at a time, Stuart.
It is an unlimited amount of American dollars funding the initial stages of this bailout. There is no cap. Yes, it is a currency swap. It is American dollars right in there, plus the IMF money.
We are getting their currency in return, and these are loans that are on one day, or it could be as long as 3 months.
You both explain your position. Here's what we want to cut through the clutter here, because the person at home, we're about to see the Bush tax cuts expire, Medicare taxes go up, we're going to see the death tax return, they're talking about a VAT tax on top of it. What does the average person at home have in terms, what should they expect happening to them?
This president is married to bailouts and married to debt. Let me tell you something. In the last 10 weeks, America's outstanding national debt has gone up $300 billion. In 10 days, our outstanding debt will hit $13 trillion. That is the Obama legacy. We're going to have to pay that. And we are bailing out the housing industry, $145 billion. We're bailing out the Europeans, unlimited dollar supplies going right over there right now. And we're getting ready the bailout of the states with $100 billion. The legacy is debt.
How do you're a big supporter of Bill Clinton, for example.
Yes.
Bill Clinton, along with when the Republicans got a hold of the purse strings, the era of big government's over. Well, I'm going to end welfare as we know it. All these things. Okay. It's the antithesis of Obama. How do you justify $1 trillion, $1.5 trillion of debt every year as far as the eye can see?
When the initial crisis happened, we needed to put it a temporary infusion. But I agree that we are in a crisis situation, or we are in a situation that we are at a tipping point, and we do need to change some things. We need to change our corporate structure, our corporate track structure.
We're going to have Nouriel Roubini on the program later tonight, and he predicted the global economic turn down, and he was one of the few, Stuart, as you know, that was able to predict it. Here's the question. $1 trillion deficits, as far as the eye can see, a debt commission. That means they're going to recommend and give political cover.
You keep
Wait a minute.
saying it.
Yes. A debt commission will give political cover to politicians to do what? Raise taxes. They spent the money. Now they've got to get the revenue.
Yes. I will be shocked. You will also see some entitlement cuts, some entitlement reforms also being recommended. You will see some spending cuts. And so you're going to need to do both.
Listen,
we are in a situation where both are going to need to occur.
They'll never do the spending cuts.
But we also need, where I do disagree with my party is that we need to have some growth strategy too. And we do do need to look at our trade policy again.
You're not going to have
We do
growth
need to have
strategy when you tax the American public and entrepreneurs into oblivion.
History is very clear. You raise taxes, you lower economic
I love that
activity.
everyone has drawn the
do.
conclusion with this.
And look, we're setting up here the value-added tax, the VAT. It's the only way that you can bring in the kind of revenue that this administration needs. We've got $1 trillion deficit as far as the eye can see. No, I am not. I am saying that it is coming, and it's a very bad thing. It will deplete economic activity. It will be a negative.
They spent the money. The money's gone. I mean, look, Social Security, all right, so they're going to means test Social Security. That's coming. So people will have paid in their whole life. If they saved enough of their money and they were responsible, they don't get their money back?
We're
7%?
living longer and long and healthier. I think there are some people that
so we're going to means
Security.
test it, and we're going to raise the age probably to about an hour before you die, before you can start collecting.
I love the hyperbole. I absolutely love it. No, it's not going to be that.
All right, 2 hours before you die. You get 2 hours of Social Security.
Maybe.
Maybe a week, week and a half.
It's going to be great. Social Security, Medicare, and the whole.
It's in the red this year. The projection is this year they don't have enough money to pay out.
But at least let us start. At least let us start. I mean, you know, under George Bush, we had the greatest expansion.
George Bush tried for reform and was rejected. All right, here's the end result. I don't see. Look, a friend of mine just got back from Europe and said, you know, 20% on top of everything they buy, value-added tax, and that's it. That's the way it is. It's become a way of life. We followed the spending model. Now, I got to imagine that Democrats will follow the taxing model. So that means what in the end for people?
What it means is higher taxes in the United States. Across the board, higher taxes. It means higher prices for everything if you apply a VAT. It means continuing high government spending because they got all this revenue, they're going to spend it. And it means the government dominates the economy, just like Europe. And the European model is clearly broken. Socialism is bankrupt.
All right, last question for you. Is there anything in terms of Obama's spending and debt and deficits that you're critical as a Democrat of? I mean, can you not come out and say he is spending way too much money, the stimulus did not fulfill the promises of unemployment below 8%? Has he failed in any way in your mind? No, that's a straight question. Before you spin out of it.
Before I spin out of it, no, what I would say is that there is some things that he needed to do in the temporary to stabilize.
I asked you what he did wrong. What is he spent too much money? Has he overreached? Did he miscalculate when it came to the stimulus impact?
What we need to do is continue to have a much more of a pro-growth strategy, and we do need to do some things to stimulate it, and we do need to look at...
You can't admit he's done anything wrong? He hasn't spent too much money?
What I will admit is that we need to reform our system right now.
The pro-growth strategy is less taxes, less regulation. Can I say one thing that the
Let me just say, but when we had less regulation, look what happened. We had an unbridled greed. Unbridled greed.
Let me tell you, unbridled greed.
Unbridled greed. That put us in this situation where...
malfeasance. You know, government is greedy.
Yes.
Government spends too much money. But you wouldn't admit that 2 seconds ago.
I agree that we do need to do some more...
Last word, Stuart.
One good thing that the President Obama has done, he's killed terrorists with drones in Pakistan. Go for it, Mr. Obama.
All right. On that note, we end it there. Plenty more Hannity coming up straight ahead.
A teacher calls this drawing offensive. Tonight, the family of the 13-year-old artist speaks out on Hannity. Do these racy photos of the Miss USA contestants go too far? Our Great American Panel debates. Plus, he forecasted the economic meltdown, and now Dr. Doom is here with a brand new prediction. Hannity continues straight ahead.